Okay, well, welcome everybody. Welcome to Little's Lab. My name is Kim. I am a community learning specialist with Do Space. And this morning we are in a brand new month, which means we're in a brand new theme. And so if you are kind of new to Little's Lab, every month we have a different theme and we kind of do some activities that go along with that theme. And so our theme this month is we are going to be kind of talking about like engineering and building things. And so that is what we're going to be doing this today. So today we are going to be talking about these cool things called simple machines. And we'll talk about kind of what those are here in a little bit. But my first question for you is, like I said, our theme this month is let's build and engineer. So, and I'm going to ask you, what does engineer mean? That's kind of a big word, right? That's a big, big word, engineer. And you might not know what that means, and that's okay. So engineer means somebody can be an engineer, somebody can engineer something. So if you are an engineer, there's all sorts of different types of engineers, but basically somebody who is an engineer kind of designs or thinks out and draws out and plans out something that they want to build. And then they either build it or they can tell other people how to build it. And so, and there's all sorts of different types of engineers. There are engineers that help build buildings. There are engineers that help build like computer programs, like how we are talking right now. It's a program, it's software on our computer. Somebody had to design how all of this works so I can talk to you over the internet and on our computers or iPads. There are engineers that help with just, designing everyday things like how different tables or chairs. There's a lot of things, like ways that somebody can be an engineer. And you can be an engineer. I bet if you've ever maybe thought about, I want to build something, and maybe if you've ever drawn out a plan on like, I want it to look like this, and I maybe want it to work out this way. Maybe if you've ever done that, then you've been an engineer. So I want to ask you guys something. What have you built recently? I bet you guys have built things before. And what have you built recently? And let me know in the chat, maybe with the help of your grown-up, what have you built recently? And it can be anything. You could build, and the nice thing about like building things is it can be with so many different materials. You could build with blocks, you can build with Legos, you can build with Play-Doh, you can build with sticks, you can build with forts. Pillows, blankets. What have you been, if you haven't been building anything, that's okay too. That's okay if you haven't been building anything. Sometimes people like to build things with fruits and veggies, to make like cool displays and things like that with fruits and vegetables. What have you been building recently? Sometimes people build with wood, they can build furniture, things like that out of wood. I know I was talking to my nephews that are around your guys' age, anywhere between 3 and 5, and they recently built some bird feeders and bird houses for trees outside their house. So things like that. Have you been building anything? Let me know in the chat. You can help write something in the chat at any time if you want. So that's kind of what our month is going to be about, talking about building different things and how they can be built. Ooh, somebody made a robotic arm. Did you make a robotic arm from the webinar on Saturday out of cardboard? I led that one too. So, or maybe you didn't. Maybe you made it all by yourself. But there's, I put out a really fun webinar about how to make a cardboard robotic arm for our summer kickoff. That was on Saturday. And if you haven't had a chance yet, go to our YouTube channel at Do Space YouTube channel, and it has all sorts of different fun webinars, including that. So that's pretty cool if you did. But if you didn't and you made your own, that's also really cool. But so we like I said, put it in the chat if you like. If not, no worries. So we're going to be talking about simple machines, like I said. So we have a story that kind of helps explain simple machines, and then I have a really cool app that we're going to talk through a few of the simple machines that we learn about in our book today, and we'll talk about what a simple machine is here soon. But first, I want to get started with our calendar because I really like going over our calendar. It helps us with our numbers and our days of the week, which are so important. And it can even help us with our letters and different things that are going on in our month. So I am going to share with you the website. It is a Starfall. It is called Starfall. And it went straight to it. Usually I kind of go through, it went straight to it. The website is called Starfall, and I like to use their calendar. And if you are new to Do Space or to Little's Lab, then you might not know that when we are in the building, we have a really big touch screen, like computer screen, that I ask our kiddos to come up, and this website's really cool because you can kind of navigate through it by touching. And I'm going to be doing that on my end, but I want you guys to help me out at home. I want you to pretend that you are navigating it. So that means I'm going to have you, when I ask you to, I would like you to touch your screen, and that'll get us to our next screen. So for example, you should see a big white triangle in the middle of your screen. I want you to go ahead and touch that triangle. I'm going to touch it for realsies, but I want you to touch it, and we'll do it all together. So you should see that our screen changed, and you should see the name of our month and the year that we're in. And so that first word is the name of our month. And who knows what the name, or I bet people know, but what is that letter that our month starts with? What is that letter that our month starts with? Does anybody know what the letter that our month starts with? Is it our letter J? Yes, it is our letter J. So our month starts with the letter J. And do you know what our month is called that starts with our letter J? Is it the month of June? If you said the month of June to the people you were with, your grown-ups or maybe siblings, then you are correct. We are in the month of June. So our month starts with our letter J. That makes the J sound, and we are in the month called June. Perfect. And then our year, that number is our year that we're in. So we're in the year 2020, 2020. Okay, we're going to go to the next screen. So you should see at the bottom of your screen a green triangle, or green arrow. Can you touch that green arrow for me? Perfect. And you should see your screen change, and you should see that this is the calendar that we have. This is our calendar of our month of June. And right under where it says June 2020, you should see our 7 days of the week. And we repeat those every week, every month throughout our year. So I think we should say those together. Let's say them all together. I'm going to say them with you. You say them with the people that you're with, okay? And let's start with Sunday. So there's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Good job. And so who knows what today's day of the week is? Does anybody know what today's day of the week is? Our day of the week, it comes after Monday and is before Wednesday. It starts with our letter T. Today is Tuesday. That's right. Today, our day of the week is Tuesday. So you should see a hand pointing to our Tuesday day of the week. That's kind of sparkly and golden. Go ahead and touch that Tuesday for me. Perfect. So today is Tuesday. That's our day of the week. Our month is called June. And then that number is our date today. And like I said, we're at the very beginning of a brand new month. So I bet you all know that number. I bet you all know that number that purple star is on. It is our number 2. That is right. Our number 2 is the second day of June. So today is Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020. Perfect. Okay, let's touch that green arrow again. Go ahead and touch that green arrow. Oh, goodness. Okay, now we need to put our Tuesday where it goes in the day of the week and our 2 where it goes in the day of the week. So I want you to touch our Tuesday and we're going to just drag that where it needs to go in our day of the week. Right there. Perfect. And let's do the same with our 2 or our second day of June. Good job. Okay, let's touch that green arrow one more time. Okay, so yeah, like I said, today is our second day of June. We're at the very beginning, and you should see some little pictures or some icons, and those signify days, kind of special days during our month of June. And there's not a ton this month, which is okay. So let's go through and check out some of our days. So the first one we're going to talk about is kind of further in our month, right? If you go to Saturday, June 20th, you should see a nice big green tree. And on that day, it's our summer solstice, and it's our first day of summer. So I know everybody kind of thinks of like once school ends, kind of summer vacation begins, but we are not quite in the season of summer. There are 4 seasons, right? We have 4 seasons. Do you know your 4 seasons? So we already talked about there's summer, right? And fall comes after summer, and then winter comes after fall. And right now, we are still in the season of spring. So even though it's starting to get warmer outside and school's out, and a lot of people say it's summer vacation, we are not quite in our season of summer yet. Technically, we are still in spring. So summer will start on Saturday, June 20th. So that's going to be our first day of summer. And then there's a summer solstice on that day. And you're like, what is that? What does that mean? That just means that's going to be our longest day of the year. So our sun is going to rise the earliest it will do all year long, and it'll set the latest in the day it will all year long. So we're going to have the longest amount of sunshine for that day. And so it's our longest day of the year. So up until the 20th, our days are going to get longer, right? The sun's going to rise earlier and it's going to set later. So, it might be really late at night, maybe 9 or even, I can't remember, sometimes 10 o'clock before it gets really dark. And it's going to continue getting later and later in the evening, and the sun's still going to be out until the 20th. And then our days will start to get shorter. So the sun will start to rise later and the sun will start to set later. So, but on that day, on the summer solstice, on Saturday, the 20th, we'll have our very longest day of the year, and it'll be our first day of summer. And then the next day after that, on Sunday, May 21st, is a special day. We had a special day for a special person in our lives last month, right? We had Mother's Day. And this month, on June 21st, it's Father's Day. So that's a day we'll celebrate the special guys in our life, right? Our dads and grandpas, maybe older siblings, people, those special guys that have helped raise us and take care of us. And so that'll be a special day on Sunday, June 21st. And so this is where I like to ask for birthdays. I already saw in our chat, Zombie said that they had a birthday in June on June 28th. So I have a piece of birthday cake, and I'm going to just drag it, and you can help me too. I'm going to drag it over on Sunday, June 28th. And so does anybody else have a birthday in June? Because I know everybody has a birthday, right? I have a birthday, you have a birthday, but not everybody has it in our month of June. So does anybody else have their birthday in our month of June? If you do, great. If not, no worries. Not everybody has their birthday in June, right? So yeah, I am not seeing any other birthdays. So I'm going to say nope, no other birthdays, no worries. Okay, well, happy birthday, Zombie. That on June 28th. Excellent. Okay. Oh, I just closed it. We just got in the chat. Joseph has a birthday on the 13th. I'm sorry, I just closed and stopped sharing our calendar, but happy birthday, Joseph, on the 13th. So if I could, I would drag a piece of cake on our date on the 13th. Well, perfect. So we are going to talk about simple machines, and you probably maybe have never heard of those. That might be something you learn about when you're a little bit older, but maybe you have heard about a simple machine. So I bet you've heard of machines before, right? You know, anything that's a machine that does something. So maybe like your washing machine washes your clothes, right? It has the word machine right in it, your washing machine. And it has a lot of moving parts and it's a lot of electrical parts. And it's, you know, if you were to open up that washing machine, it would be really complex with a lot of things going on. And you'd have to have certain parts and you'd have to have it connected to electricity for it to work. And a lot of machines are like that. They're complex machines. There's lots of things. But today we're going to be talking about simple machines. So simple machines is that they can do some things, but they don't need electricity. And they're designed in a way that with just a little bit of strength or effort from you, it does the work for you. So I like to think of some simple machines for is your bicycle. If you have a bicycle that has a simple machine on it, the wheels that you ride your bikes on has a wheel, and then in the middle is an axle which allows your wheel to turn. And that's a simple machine. And so you put in a little bit of work, right, to pedal, but otherwise your wheels do most of the work for you to get you from point A to point B. Like if you just pedal a few times, you can stop pedaling and your bike still keeps going, right? Yeah, and that's because your wheel is doing the work for you. Another thing is I wish I had my example. Another example, like when we're in the building, I like to say is a door stop or a wedge. So if you've ever seen, you know, something that kind of comes down at an angle, and you wedge it under your door. That's a simple machine. It doesn't require any electricity, anything else, just how it's shaped does the work for you. Otherwise, somebody might have to just stand there and hold the door open, right? But with a door opener or door wedge, it does the work for you. Ooh, our friend Tommy says scissors are a simple machine. Yeah, they're the lever, so it allows you to, you know, you can close and kind of levers down to cut paper or different things. Absolutely. That's a great example of a simple machine. So there are so many different examples of simple machines, and we're going to read a story that talks about how somebody is going to build a fort. And they use all sorts of different simple machines to build this fort. So I'm going to share with you right now a app that is called Epic Books. I think it should be coming up. There we go. And even though there's a little thing that says complete on it, but our story is called The Fort on 4th Street, a story about the 6 simple machines. So there are 6 simple machines that that exist that you can build a fort with. So there's only 6 simple machines. So let's kind of learn about how we can use simple machines to build a fort. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. This is the yard on 4th Street where I'm building a fort. That will be very neat. Who will help me build it today? And what will I need to make a fun place to play? Let's see, let's find out. This is the fort that we will build by hand. With Grandpa's help, we'll build it as planned. I'll use imagination to create fun spaces, and it will even include some secret places. Ooh, so Grandpa's gonna help build this fort. That is so nice. And maybe the help of that kitty cat, right? And their doggy too. These are the wheels and axles that move my wagon without hassles. It carries wood in a great big mound with wheels that make a squeaky sound. So the wheels on our wagon are made up of wheels and axles. So again, they put some heavy wood that it would be hard for us to carry that heavy wood, right? But when they put it on the wagon and they, with a little bit of effort, they can pull that wagon and the wheels do the work for you. So in the corner it says the hands that use simple machines to build the fort on 4th Street. So those wheels are the wheels and axles. So that's one of our simple machines. This is Grandpa's saw, which is a wedge. Watch your fingers. It has a sharp edge. It's bumpy and prickly and cuts the wood, making each board fit as it should. So we kind of talked about a wedge, right? Wedge is our doorstop, but this is also, a saw is also a wedge because it kind of, like the name, it wedges itself in between the two boards. And because it has kind of sharp teeth on it, it cuts it in half. But another one is like if an axe to cut wood, that's a wedge. So let's see. So my wagon makes a squeaky sound when the wheels go round and round, pulled by my hands that use simple machines to build the fort on 4th Street. This is our 3rd simple machine. These are the screws that I place in the wood, tight and solid, so they'll stay in for good. A rough spiral thread winds around the screw, joining wood together as the screw pushes through. So you can see that a screw, and I bet you've seen screws before. Maybe if you've ever helped your grown-up, your mom and dad or somebody build something before, like a piece of furniture, a lot of times they have screws, and they're the little guys that have kind of a thin head, and the threads kind of go round and round, and it binds things together, puts things together like wood. So that's a simple machine. So Grandpa's saw cuts the wood, making each board fit as it should. And my wagon makes a squeaky sound when the wheels go round and round, pulled by my hands that use simple machines to build the fort on 4th Street. Okay, this is our 4th simple machine. This is the pulley that brings up the treats, so yummy and sweet, that we love to eat. A basket rises with the force applied while Grandpa pulls the rope nearby. So you can see that kind of gray thing is called the pulley, and it's like a circle, kind of like the axle, right? Kind of, but a rope or a thread is around it. So then if you needed to lift up something heavier to a higher place, it's easier to do it than trying to lift it by hand. So again, you're just using a little bit of effort pulling that rope to lift something much heavier high above. So you can count the screws deep in the wood, tight and solid. They'll stay in for good. Grandpa's saw cuts the wood, making each board fit as it should. And my wagon makes a squeaky sound when the wheels go round and round, pulled by my hands that use simple machines to build the fort on 4th Street. This is the lever that moves a rock so easily. It is quite a shock. The rock rolls away and the land is clear, allowing me to stand quite near. So it would be really hard to move that rock by hand by lifting it yourself, right? It would be super hard because it's so heavy. But you can see that Grandpa has a crowbar, which is kind of lever, and that he can just push down on it and it'll lift the rock up. So it makes it a lot easier. And here's my question for you. Who do you think this fort is for? What do you think this fort is for? We'll see. I use the pulley to bring up the treats so yummy and sweet that we love to eat. You can count the screws deep in the wood. Tight and solid, they'll stay in for good. Grandpa's saw cuts the wood, making each board fit as it should. And my wagon wheel makes a squeaky sound when the wheels go round and round, pulled by the hands that use simple machines to build the fort on 4th Street. So this is our 5th one, our 6th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is our last one, our last simple machine. This is the ramp that goes up to the port, a special opening for those who are short. Our ramp is to the port is an inclined plane, getting us safely over bumpy terrain. So if you've ever seen like a ramp, like people that might have wheelchairs or maybe on a bike somewhere, like somewhere, if you're going from a lower space to a higher space, a lot of times you need a ramp, and that is called an inclined plane. And that allows you to go up easier. So the lever is used to clear the land, making a place for me to stand. I use the pulley to bring up the treats, so yummy and sweet that we love to eat. You can count the screws deep in the wood, tight and solid, they'll stay in for good. Grandpa's saw cuts the wood, making each bore fit as it should, and my wagon wheel makes a squeaky sound when the wheels go round and round, pulled by the hands that use simple machines to build the fort on 4th Street. At last, I look around, and what do I see? 6 simple machines used to build a fort for me. We used wheels and axles, a wedge, some screws, a pulley, a lever, and an inclined plane too. So we'll say this last one. We have a ramp that goes up to the port, a special opening for those who are short. The lever is used to clear the land, making a place for me to stand. I use the pulley to bring up the treats, so yummy and sweet that we love to eat. You can count the screws deep in the wood, tight and solid, they'll stay in for good. Grandpa's saw cuts the wood, making each board fit as it should, and my wagon makes a squeaky sound when the wheels go round and round, pulled by the hands that use simple machines to build the fort on 4th Street. So, simple machines, of which we use 6, have few or no moving parts to fix. They're easy to use and easy to stow, making it simple when we're on the go. And simple machines make work easier today, giving us a place to rest and play. The fort for us is number 1. Will be a place for lots of fun. So they used all of those 6 simple machines to make a fort for their grandkids. How great is that? So I bet if you look around your house, you will be able to see and find some of these simple machines around your house if you look closely. Perfect. So guys, we are going to move on. To the app that I have for us today, and it is called Machines. So the app is called Tiny Bop Machines, and I can add that to our chat so you guys know. And it is a really cool app because it will show us examples of all of our simple machines. We're not going to have time to do all of them today, but I want to show you a few that maybe you recognize and we can learn about. So the first one I want to talk more about is our wheel and axle, because like I said, this one will probably be the one you will see the most just around when you look around. And it's a fun one. There we go. Oh, and I am going to start out with this. So you can see our little guy, he is on his bicycle, and on the back wheel, you can see the wheel, and right in the middle is the axle. So that's where the wheel spins around. And so if I'm going to kind of do a circle motion on my screen, and you can see our little guy is now zooming on his bike, right? Oh, he's doing it with no hands. So you can see our wheel and axle are in the back. But what if we change up what our bike looks like? I'm going to change up what our bike looks like really quickly, and I'm going to change it so where we have a big wheel in the front, and you can see that our wheel is a lot bigger, and then the axle is in the front too, our wheel and axle. But are we going as fast? We're not going as fast, are we? Because the wheels are different sizes. So it might take a little bit more effort, especially because the wheel is in front. And let's even check out another example, because maybe you don't know how to ride your bike yet, but maybe you have a scooter. Do you guys have a scooter? And so there is a wheel and axle on your scooter as well. So again, it's in the back. The wheel that's moving and the axle is in the back, so you can see that when you kind of press the ground, the wheel and axle allows you to move forward. But what if we change up how our wheels, because all of our wheels are circles, right? They're circular. But what if we change it up to where our wheels are square? Do you think they'll move? Let's see. Nope. He is not moving, right? He's kind of behind a tree. But our wheels need to be circular. Otherwise, it's not going at all. These are square wheels, and they are just not working at all. So this goes to show how round wheels or circular wheels are the best for your wheel and axle. Okay, we are going to change, and I want to look at our wedge, because I think this one's a fun one. So these are other examples. We talked about this as well, how wedges can be a saw, or can help us keep door opens, but they can also help break things open. So we have these little balls of ice, and we want to try and open them up, and you can see how they're these triangular. And what do you notice about those triangles? The one on the right is a little bit bigger and wider than the one on the left, right? So I'm going to lift up this guy, and when we pressure down, our wedge starts to break open. You can see our wedge is starting to break open our piece of ice. Oh, let's try one more time. Let's see if we can break open this. And there was a bird inside. How funny is that? Well, let's try the one on the left. Let's try the one on the left and see what's in there. So, and it's a little bit thinner. So let's see if it makes a difference. What do you think? I think because it's a little bit thinner, it went in there easier. And so it took 4 times to get that bird out. And now this one only took 3 times to get our little guy out. Oh, he's so happy to be out of the ice. And so we have our so wedges can help with that. So again, they can help cut wood, help open doors. And then I want to also look at maybe our screw. So on a really small level, you can see, like I said in our books, where the screws help put our screws help connect our pieces of wood. And you can see, I'm going to screw, how on the bottom you can see the threads that kind of go around and around. I'm actually going to move this, and you can see that there are little fishies look like little skeletons. But let's see, if I turn, you can see I'm turning and I'm lifting this up. But we can also go down. Let's go down. And so a lot of things use screws to lift things up and down, as well as connecting things. So you might have to, this might be a little bit trickier to find a screw, but if you look at furniture, you can probably see the screw heads. But these are what screws look like. If you can see the threads, they're basically little inclined planes that just wrap around a post. So yeah, so these are examples of a screw, which is a simple machine. Okay, friends, it is about time to end Little's Lab. So I am going to go back here and go back to me and say thank you so much for joining me today for Little's Lab. And my challenge for you is for this week, I want you to look around your house and see how many different simple machines you can find. You might need help from your grown-up or an older sibling, but see how many simple machines you can find. And remember, there's a wheel and axle, there's a wedge, there's an inclined plane or a ramp, there's a screw. I'm already forgetting them. There's a pulley. That one might be tricky, finding a pulley. And then there's one more. Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting. But try and find as many as you can around the house. And see what you can build this week as well. Maybe you can build some things with some inclined planes. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. Keep an eye out for our summer videos that are going to be dropping. They're usually dropping every Tuesday and Thursday. Our first one is not going to drop until till tomorrow. So it's going to be our first make-along video. So keep an eye out for our make-along video. And then on Thursday, we'll have our first summer challenge video as well. And then we'll be doing a brand new Little's Lab next Tuesday. So join us again next Tuesday. We also do Saturdays, but I'll probably be doing the same thing on Saturday as we did today. So join us next week if you joined us today for a brand new Little's Lab, where we'll do a different story and a different app. So again, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Talk to you later. Bye.